Hello again and welcome back to the Ash Engine Hub. The name is the Ash, and today we'll be looking at how to create text in Figma. But before that, let's get rid of these. So we just highlight them and click on the delete button. So let's get rid of these components. So in order to create a text in Figma, you need what we call a text box. And in order to create a text box in Figma, we make use of this tool whose tooltip indicates text. So in order to create a text box, you just click on it to highlight, then you just hold left mouse button on any area of the canvas and just drag to any size of your choice. So right now what we've created here is what we call a text box, and inside the text box we have what we call the blinking insertion point. So right now the indicating the blinking insertion point means that we can actually type something within the Figma canvas. So let's try typing something. So test creation and design in Figma. So as you can see, we've successfully created our text within our text box. Now, in order to exit out of the right now, the blinking insertion point indicates that we are in the typing mode, meaning that whatever we type using the keyboard will definitely appear within this text box. So in order to exit from the typing mode, all that you need to do is just click outside the text area, and now we've moved from the typing mode to the normal selection mode. So that's basically how text is created in Figma. You first create the text box you first create the text box, then inside the text box you type whatever text that you want to type. Now that we've seen how texts are created in Figma, let's move on to how to edit text or how to modify text in the normal selection mode. So right now we have this text box selected in the normal selection mode, which is indicated by the blue collecting lines and also the small squares at the vertices. So in order to change, so first of all, let's try changing the font family, which in Figma is referred to as the typeface of the text. So in order to change the typeface of the text, you come to the section called typography. So the section called typography, and now you can see that our typeface is set to Inter. So in order the typeface or the font family is set to Inter. So in order to change the typeface of this text, all that you need to do is just click on the down arrow here. Let's wait. Okay, as you can see, click on the down arrow here. Oh, it seems the internet connection is bad. So as you can see, when I scroll, so alright, it is back on. Since my internet connection is back on, so in order to change the font family or the typeface of the text, you come to the section called topography. Then you click on this down arrow here. So within this down arrow, as you can see, we have different types of font family here. And as I hover on each of the font family, the text on the Figma canvas changes accordingly. Maybe on your machine it might not change accordingly as you see here, but if it doesn't change when you hover on the name of the font family, all that you need to do is just click on it, and as you can see, the typeface or the font family of the text changed accordingly. Also, if you are also if you already are familiar, if you have you already know a typeface that you want to use, let's take if you already know a typeface that you want to use, you can just type the name of the typeface here. So you just highlight the existing one, you use the backspace to wipe it off, then just type the existing typeface or font family that you know. So let's say Times New Roman, and as you can see, Times New Roman showed here, and just by selecting it, we are able to change typeface of this text. So in order to change the typeface or the font family of the text, just need to come to the section called typography. Then on this on the at this property box, just click on the down arrow here. Then you choose from the many of the font family or the typeface that are shown here. So right now I'll go with Times New Roman. Then now that we are done with the font family or the typeface, let's talk about the style of the text. In order to change the style of the text while having the text box in the normal selection mode, you come here, then just right click on the just left click on the down arrow here. As you can see, we have regular, then we have bold, then we have italic, and also we have italic bold. So you can choose the style you want your text to exist in, whether bold, italic, or bold italic, anyone which you believe is appealing and suitable to design your website. So just click on it, and as you can see, our text has been emboldened. Click on the italic, and as you can see, it has been italicized. So right now, let me set it back to regular. So right now, we've seen how to change the font type and also the font family, also known as the typeface, and also how to change the font style. Now let's move on to how to change the font size of the text. In order to change the font size of the text, all that you need to do is just change the number here, which is indicated in the topography section. So just right click on, let's click on the down arrow and choose from the many font size that is indicated here. So let's set it to 24. As you can see, the size of our text changed accordingly. So right now we know how to change the size of the text, and as you can see, we successfully changed the size of the text. Now let's move on to how to change the letter spacing of the text. So when we say letter spacing, that's basically the space that exists within, that is the space between the text, or the space in between the letters of the text. And so in order to change the spacing in between the letters of the text, right now it is set to 0%. So let's try setting it to 10%. And as you can see, the spacing in between the letters of the text changed to the accordingly when we change the number of the letter spacing. So let's set it back to 0. As you can see, changed accordingly. Also, we have what we call the line height. That's basically the space in between lines of text. So this line of text and this line of text, the space in between it is what we call the line height. Right now it is set auto. Let's try changing it to a certain number. So let's try 30. And as you can see, the space in between the two lines of text increased upon changing it, the line width. So let's try changing it to 50 and change accordingly. So right now let's set it to auto with a capital A, then hit on enter. Now we are back to our original line height. Also, there are some things that you need to know of in Figma. In Figma, the units of measurements are percentages, pixels, and degrees. So if you see any number, so with for any property box, if you see any number without a unit or without a unit symbol, those numbers are all measured in pixels, that is px. For this one, it is measured in degrees, and for this one too, it is measured in percentages. So the text box without any unit after the number or right after the number, just as you see here and also here, those text box values are measured in pixels. I hope that's clear. So right now we know how to change the line height and also the letter spacing of the text. Now there's actually another way to create a text in Figma, which is a bit different from the initial process which we had to create a text box. For the process, let me show you how to do it. So for this process to you click on this icon, but instead of creating let me exit out of this. So instead of dragging right left clicking on the left mouse button and creating a text box just like how we initially did it, we won't be doing that. We will do in this case is we just left click on any area on the canvas just like how I've done it. So we just select the T and the icon, this icon here on the toolbar, and just left click on at any area of the canvas and just type in. So test creation and design in Figma. Now, one will ask what is the difference between this method of creation of text and this method? The difference actually the lies in the width of the text box. So in this text box has a definite width, but this text box has let me say an automatic width. That means the width of the text box adjusts itself based on the content that you type within the text box. And in order to explain this well, let's put this in the normal selection mode and come to the layout section here. So from the layout section here within the resizing subsection, you can see that this one which is highlighted or which is selected for this text box is called fixed size, meaning that the width and the height of this text box is set. So when you try to create a text box by dragging it like this, we define a fixed width and a fixed height for it. So automatically you can see that the resizing has the fixed size selected. Let's get rid of this one. When you select this one too, or when you place this one in the normal selection mode, you can see that the resizing under the resizing subsection we have auto width, meaning the width of this text box will automatically adjust itself as you type in more content. So the first process where we had to create a text box of definite size has a fixed width, and this one where we had to just click on any area of the canvas had an automatic width, an auto width, meaning that the width of the text box will increase according to the content. All right, so take let me get rid of this one. Let's focus on this one. So in addition to the fixed width and also the auto width, we have what we called the auto height. Now, in order to explain the auto height for you to understand, fill let's try filling this box. So if you exit out of the typing mode, or let's say you select a text object and you want to enter the typing mode, all that you need to do is just double click on the text box. Then you can see that the text has been highlighted. Then you just click again. Then you will see the blinking insertion point again. Then you just type. So let's add more. So adding more text to text box. So as you can see, when we've tried to add more text to the text box, you can see that the text which exceeded the height of the text box appeared below the set height. So in order for this text box to adjust itself automatically to the content of the height, or the height of the text box to adjust itself based on the content that you type, you need to select this text box. So mind you, this text box has to be selected. So you first move out of the typing mode by clicking outside of the text box, and right now we have the text box in the normal selection mode. So in order to set the property of this text box such that the height adjusts automatically based on the content that we give it, just select this option, auto height. As you can see, the height of the object adjusted automatically to the text, the additional text that we added. Then as you can you then you, after that you will notice that the more text that you enter, the height of the text box will increase to accommodate. Let's test this and see. Testing if height will adjust 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 automatically. And as you can see, the height of the text box adjusted automatically as we added more text. So that's basically the concept behind the auto height, the auto width, the auto height, and also the fixed size. Now, right now that we are done with those, let's move on to text alignment in Figma. So let's get rid of this. Let's create a text box. Let's add a text. Let's call it push. So push. By default, any text that you type within a text box on a Figma canvas is aligned or is automatically aligned to the left. So this text here that we have here is automatically aligned to the left or the left of the text box that we just created. Now, in order to change the alignment of this text here, you need to come to this section. Then under the section typography, we have what we call the alignment. So as you can see, this text within this text box is aligned to the left, so aligned left. So in order to change or modify the alignment of this text, first let's exit out of the typing mode by clicking outside the text box. So right now we are in the normal selection mode. So in order to change the alignment of this text, all that we need to do in order to change or in order to align this text to the center of this text box, all that you need to do is just come here and click on align center. And as you can see, if the text push was changed from the left alignment to the center alignment. In mind, this is called the horizontal alignment. There's also vertical alignment there, which we will get to. So in this case, we said that the text has been aligned to the center horizontally. So if you click on the align left, you see that this text has been aligned to the left horizontally. Also, if you want to align it to the right, you just click on this option and the text push would be aligned to the left, to the right horizontally. So now let's set it back to the original alignment. So that is it for the various ways of aligning a text horizontally. Now let's move on to the various ways to align a text vertically. To do that, let's try modifying this text box a little. So let's, in order to put it across well. Now, if we are looking at vertical alignment, we say that this text is aligned to the top vertically. So the text push is aligned to the top of the text box vertically. In order to align it to other positions, so far we have the top alignment, the center alignment or the middle alignment, and also we have the bottom alignment. So right now we have aligned the text to the bottom of the text box vertically. In order to align it to the middle of the text box vertically, you just click on the align middle, and as you can see, the text has been aligned to the middle of the text box vertically. In order to align it to the bottom of the text box vertically, also you click on this option, and as you can see, the text box has been aligned to the bottom of the text box vertically. So that's it for the alignment. Now, when you hover your mouse on at this section, there is an option called type settings. Let's open it and see. So before that, let me return this to the original so that you align it to the top vertically. Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. So let's try with a new one. Create a text box of a fixed size. Let's test creation. So let's use this one. So Once you have a text box selected or in the normal selection mode, you come here, you call it the type settings. So just click on it. And as you can see, there are more ways to edit or modify the text here. So we have the alignment text. So we have the, mind, this is the alignment horizontally. So aligning a text horizontally, we have the horizontal alignment, the center alignment, the right alignment, and also we have the justified. In this case, where the words of the text are spread out evenly. And as you can see, when you hover on each of the alignment options, a preview within this preview box, or a demonstration of how your text will look like within this text box, is actually previewed here. So when you click on the center alignment, yes, the text has been centered. And from the text box, you can see that a demonstration was shown here. So let's send it back to left alignment. So that is it for the alignment. Down here too, we have what we call the decoration. So when you click here, it, it shows that your text will have the strike through effect. So when you click on it, as you can see, our text has the strike through effect. When you click on this option, our text has been underlined, just like how it was previewed in the preview box. So right now, let's set it to none. We also have the option to change the case of our text. So this option indicates that to change our text to uppercase, just like how it is shown in the preview box. So as you can see, our text has been capitalized, our text has been lowercase, just like how it was indicated here. Then you also have the title case, which implies that the initials of each word in the text will be capitalized. So as you can see, the T is capitalized and also the C is capitalized, and they are both initials of their respective words. Also, we have what we call the small caps. So as you can see, they are all in caps, but you can see that the size are small in size. The sizes are smaller. And also we have the four small caps, and as you can see, we have all the text in caps, but they are smaller in size. Also, we have what we call the list style. So assuming you want to create a list out of your text within the text box, all that you need to do is just choose the style of list you want to use. So we have the bullet style and we have the numbered style. So when you click here, you can see that it has been bulleted accordingly and it has been numbered accordingly. So right now, let's set it to none. As for the paragraph spacing, we talk about that later on as we design. Alright, so let's see, we have more here. These are basically these stuff, you will look more on it as you design further. Okay, let's look at this one. This one is what we call the position. So let's say you have a number attached to a letter. If you want to make that number a subscript, basically when you are dealing with mostly tags or logarithm, that is a number to a certain base, the log of a number to a certain base, you can make use of the subscript. And also you can also have the superscript here, which we make use of when we are dealing with exponents. So if you want to raise a number to a certain power, you make use of the exponent. So the rest you look more on it as you design further. So that's basically how text creation and design is done in Figma. And as we proceed in designing of the website, you see that these basic things will help us to design our text more, to make our text look appealing. Thank you again for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like this video, share and comment. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you'll be encouraged to post more videos. It helps a lot. Also keep your notification bell icon active so that you'll be notified whenever we post new videos.